Hi, everybody, and welcome to Koboa, Aventura. I am your host and GM, Brandy Rose, and I'm super excited to bring you guys the first wonderful AP exploring the setting, the world of Koboa with our wonderful, wonderful cast. So, first things first, we are going to say, what's Koboa? You might have heard of it. I hope you have. We've been talking about it a lot. So, Koboa is a beautiful, wonderful South American setting that is compatible with D&D 5e, Black Flag, and Pathfinder 2, which is very, very special. This is a production, including the AP, that has been made entirely from Latin and South American creators, which makes it extra special. So, the premise for Koboa, I'm going to give you guys a bit of an intro. And hopefully, if you like what you hear and you like what you see today, you can head on over to koboasetting.com, which link should be in the chat, and sign up for the mailing list so that you can get a little sneak peek into Koboa. You can check out some of the cool special things that we're going to be explaining to you as we play. And you'll get updates as the Kickstarter launches so that you can contribute and support this amazing project. So, Koboa. A land in healing calls for adventurers. A century ago, the Laurentian invaders were defeated and driven off of the land of Koboa. Centuries of occupation, however, have left their mark on the land and its people. The careless greed of the Laurentians left the continent a dangerous and wounded place. Monsters, fiends, and all forms of otherworldly creatures roam the wilderness. The new nations of the continent seek adventurers, like yourselves, to clear the monsters, delve into abandoned temples, reclaim the lost treasures of their people, and build a new future for all Koboans. And that brings me to our beautiful, wonderful cast. So briefly, everybody, please say who you are and who you're playing. We'll start with Catrina.
Hi, my name's Catrina. Today I'm playing Tala. She is an elven bard who is every bit a Scorpio, really. So I'm very excited to get into it, tell some lies, tell some truths, and cut some people.
Randy.
Howdy, howdy. I'm Randy Alvarenga, and today I'll be playing a character named Palo. And Palo is in the form of a Sial, which is sort of a fairy-like appearance. But he is also a bard, so we have two bards in our party. So good times are gonna ensue from there. Um, and I'm just so pumped to be here, you guys. This is such an amazing world and Kickstarter. So let's go and have fun. Pumped.
Yay. And then Chris.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris, and I will be playing Jax, the warlock. So I decided to go against the grain. Jax is a very wonder-eyed, naive individual, and I'm very excited to see what shenanigans he gets into with his wonderful, wonderful sets.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited to see what everybody brings to the table. And before we start, I just wanted to let everybody know a nice little note from the production side to the viewers that this production uses safety tools. We use the X and an O system, and everybody's communicating behind the scenes from way before today and throughout the session to make sure that everybody is perfectly safe and happy. That being said, this is a very celebratory one shot because we're just really excited that this exists. It is very important to me that this project exists personally. Also, everybody here is Latino, so I'm very excited to have these amazing, amazing talents and to bring bits and pieces of our cultures into the beautiful world of Koboa that is already so full of us. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring us into the world and then we'll get to meet everybody properly. Okay, so the land of Koboa is a beautiful, beautiful, vast landscape of diverse cultures, diverse people, and climates. You guys are stone seekers, aka you are adventurers who seek the lost relics, treasures, and, well, adventure, as adventurers do. You guys follow both the thrill, the glory, and the goodness. You believe in the restoration of Koboa. You believe in the preservation of your cultures. You believe in bringing them back to light after having been hidden in the shadows for over 100 years. So that means you guys have to go on some pretty wild trips all across the beautiful continent of Koboa. Most recently, you guys were in the beautiful, beautiful capital, Tiku. In Tiku, you guys were dropping off a successful piece of a map. Now, a map in Koboa is the name of an artifact or piece of an artifact. In this case, because many maps have been fractured after the Laurentians came and occupied Koboa for so long, partially looting, partially destroying maps, because maps unlock forms. Forms are a very special, unique feature to Koboa that replace what was formerly in D&D, for example, known as races. So forms are something that you, the player, choose to be. You can also choose multiple expressions of a form. We said earlier, Palo, you're a Sial. Sials are beautiful creatures, almost fae-like in nature, with beautiful, colorful, butterfly-like wings. You could also be a Gintak. A Gintak is a very difficult to track form to take with backwards feet and flaming hair. You're not limited to just the one or the other. You're not limited to what you were born as. You can take features from both of those. You can take features from many maps. Maps are an artifact you take, you learn. Sometimes you make a pact with. Some things have a higher price than others. And those give you features that will give you major or minor manifestations. It could be a language. It could be a physical trait. It could be a skill set, a talent, a spell, a magic inherent to you. There's so many things you can do with it. Now, of course, magic is pretty practical. Magic can be pretty pricey. So the Laurentians did want to take some for themselves or destroy them so other people couldn't have them. And over a long period of time, pieces of the maps have been scattered. Some have been broken. Some have been lost. And that's where Stone Seekers come in. So you guys are just coming off of a successful adventure, the details of which I leave up to you, but let's, in the end, you got the artifact out. Maybe you knew what it was. Maybe you didn't. You handed it over to the scholars at Tiku. They were extremely grateful. They paid you handsomely, might I say. Did the pay equal up to the risk you took? Maybe, maybe not. That's up to you. Who knows? Some adventures, your eyebrows will never be the same again. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. But I can tell you what's going to happen now. You guys have traveled from Tiku with magical portal over to the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city of Grand Marcelin. So in this beautiful new region, this is a region that actually is probably the most mixed form of architecture that is both indigenous to Koboa and Laurentian. So you guys are in beautiful, beautiful Grand Marcella. There are students all around you. There's some Grand Marcellan students recognizable by the sheer weight of books, usually strapped to their person, and the constant nervous chattering about their studies and the things that they are experts on, and the occasional random TED talk, branding notwithstanding. You see portal keepers. You see Malgot healers. You see merchants. You see a wide variety of people coming and going, traveling, mostly arriving because today is the Grand Marcellan Festival of the Arts. The Festival of the Arts is a yearly tradition that has been reawakened and readjusted from what everyone supposes the original festival used to encompass. And of course, our cultures have nothing if not extremely rich arts of all kinds. There's dancers, there's people giving performances, people reading poems in so many languages all around. You've never heard so many in your life. And that's saying something because there's a lot of languages in Koboa. There's people who are committing more consumable art, which is to say there's food. There is so much. It is aromatic. It is spicy. It is sweet. It is savory. It is caramel. Just the sheer overwhelming smell of caramel is coming from one stall. The stall might be made of caramel. With magic, anything is possible. You might want to check that stall out. I'm just saying. It sounds irresistible to me. Maybe I just like caramel. I don't know. Either way, you can smell, you can hear, you can almost taste things in the air. There's also the fine arts. There's sculptures, there's paintings, people painting caricatures, people painting beautiful busts on the street. Everywhere you look, art is being made or consumed or shared or traded or bartered and all around celebrated. Now, you guys have just arrived. Maybe you guys hopefully were able to stop earlier and freshen yourself up from your last adventure, probably in Tiku, where you spent a few days. And now, stepping out of the portal into this absolute wealth of splendor, I have a question for you guys. First, please, in a little bit more detail, describe your form and what you look like to the audience. And I want to know what you are most looking forward to in this festival and what you think about it. You can start however you'd like.
Yeah. So Tala she's feeling pretty good. The mission was a success. She has so much to recap to anyone who will listen. And I would like to assume that she has already gathered a bit of a crowd around a jewelry stand because she is trying to charm that jeweler into giving her a set of new earrings to jut out from her ears. And there are these big beautiful hoops that have like turquoise gems embedded in them. So to try and either pull the price down or get it for free, because she loves getting things for free just out of principle, she has begun to recap their last mission in the form of song.
Wonderful. To the merchant, to anyone who will listen.
To the merchant, but she is I would like to think that she's already begun the song. She's playing it, she's talking about the feats they accomplished and saving baby animals along the way, and making new friends, and the treacherous cliffs they had to climb and the caves they had to brave, and the detail of the artifact that they recovered and how important it was to that culture. And so with all of that fanfare, I would like to think she has had some people stop on top of that, which might be good for the jeweler, who now has a small crowd around their stand, not just watching Tala, but also looking at the wares in the stand as well.
First of all, getting stuff for free, that is a person after my own heart. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's one thing we all love.
Yes.
It is getting things for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to hear that. And I'm sure that the main part of the Festival of Arts is encouraging you to take part in it as well. Absolutely. Telling tales, tall or short, singing, bartering, getting things gifted. That's an art as well. What about you guys?
I'll go. With that, as I said before, I'm playing Jax. Jack is a Watak, which what they look like at the moment is that their skin is almost like woodish in nature, but on top of it, you can see somehow there seems to be almost like maybe fish or reptile-like scales that are all along the sides of their skin in assorted places. In terms of what they're wearing almost in a sense of like lightish colored clothes that seems to be almost like aquatic in nature, in the sense of like this clothes is meant to go in the water and come out, with an assortment of shells and conches and whatnot on it, as he has his spear on his side. Currently, at the moment, since there's so much food around, you see that he is currently just with whatever he can write on, has made a very makeshift, almost like badge that he's pinned on his shoulder, which pretty much says food judge on it, and is just going to the nearest place of his favorite, which is maduros, or sweet plantains that are fried. He's trying to find whatever that is and go and try to play himself off as a food critic of sorts, so he can taste all of the delights, but for a good reason. He's a food judge.
I think that's wonderful. What a stroke of genius, and what a lovely group of kind-hearted, generous adventurers I have here today. I'm so glad we're all appreciating all of these arts, and as they should. I'm sure you'll find great success over there. Everybody here is more than willing to share with you, and honestly, they love the feedback. They want to know: too much cinnamon? Should I add cinnamon? Do I add a little salt? Maybe you should try it with this sauce, with that sauce. You would probably find yourself very quickly surrounded by not only that stand, but the accompanying stands, because everybody is pretty collaborative, and everything they learned today makes next year more delicious. What about you, Palo?
Yeah. So Palo is just relaxing a little bit on top of one of the stalls, like the little curtain on the stall. He is relaxing after having eaten his fill of just amazing foods and drinks, and just
Mhm.
living his best life. He loves the festival. Every time he comes here, he plays music. He assists probably Tala in acquiring like people to listen to the stories. But right now, his little fairy wings, which are a bright red and blue color that match these streaks of red and blue that are in his dark curly hair. They seem to be relaxing. He can only fly for a little bit, and he's kind of small. He's only about 3.5 feet tall. Uh, but right now he is just enjoying the beauty of the sun and the
Mhm.
smiles on people's faces, the smells in the air, and just he knows he's going to have to get up because he knows that, like, they didn't come here to rest all day long, but he is in just the prime of his life, like enjoying just everything that's around him.
That sounds like a perfect cat nap, and slightly familiar for me as your former co-star. It sounds like a wonderful theme you have going. I'm sure
I
that the sun is coming down nicely. Hmm?
I did forget to describe Tala because I was too
Yes.
wrapped up in her song. But Tala, I think, is the tallest in the group. She's just about 5.5 feet tall, and she has hair that makes her look even taller, just like these big, luscious red curls that frame and circle her hair or her head, and she has these giant horns, as most elves do in this society. So they kind of curl back and around her head, and she has a matching tail behind that just kind of flits with the beat of her song. So she also has a couple like bells and jingles around her to accompany like on her clothing to accompany her songs as well.
Wonderful. I will be remembering that for your stealth rolls. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I made her stealth like a little high so that she could try and overcome it, but I
Smart.
also it's a nice challenge to that balance in case I roll very poorly, which is likely. So
I love the narrative consequences of clothing. That's always fun. That's always a nice detail.
absolutely.
Now, there are a lot of people surrounding you, and there are some that might catch your eye, might not, I don't know. Near you, Palo, there is a who you recognize by uniform, a attaché portal keeper. Now, the attaché is something very, very cool and unique to Koboa. It is a set of permanent portals that lead all around the continent. And in another city, in Atatürk, there is a portal street where you can pop from one area of the country or continent to another by popping out of the portal, heading on the street, and heading to the portal you would like. And the people at the portal are very kind, very generous, usually quite tall people. Now, this person specifically is a Yut, which is a. Now, the Yutgard are the original giants, technically, by lore. But the Yut are basically as close to a giant as you can get nowadays. So you'll find Raul. He looks like about middle-aged. He is maybe early middle-aged. He looks nice. He's got this Antonio Banderas in Spy Kids as a dad vibe. He is very handsome, but he is very serious. At least he thinks he is. He's serious in the way that a goofy dad is serious. He cares deeply about his job. And currently, he cares deeply about being about 5 conchas deep into a plate, which is impressive because they're quite large. But he's quite large. So really, each of them's only the size of the palm of his hand, which is a perfect real like one bite scenario here. Now they might, maybe they're a little dry. I'm not one to criticize. I can't bake. I'm just saying they're a little dry. He may be clearing his throat a bit more than average, trying to play it off. But you recognize he's off duty. He's hanging around. He spotted your wings, giving you an appreciative nod. They're just beautiful. He just wanted to pay the compliment without being weird about it.
Oh,
He does
I
have his
am
mouth
going
full,
to
though.
fly over to him and be like, Raul, it's been so long. How are you? And I'm just like flying over. It's great.
You get these giant arms that open, one hand kept carefully to the side because it is sticky and full of concha dust. But the other hand comes around, probably spans the entirety of your back between your wings with a hearty pat. As my friend, I have not seen you. It feels like weeks.
It has. We just got back from a mission. You should have seen Tala. She was amazing. And Jax, like just getting us in so much trouble, but always like somehow being the best at it.
I do not doubt that Jax is the best at getting into trouble. I do remember. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
some things don't need to be recalled, but it is wonderful to see the three of you. I see from afar, I heard some of your adventure from Tala's song. Perfect pitch, as always. Wonderful. I was off duty for a few days to come down here. I thought maybe I would run into you. I'm very glad that I did.
I agree. It's always a pleasure when we get to hang out.
Would you like a concha?
And it is comparatively, where for him it was like very small, it is giant to me. And I go, oh, absolutely. I had one earlier, but I guess I can save some for dinner.
For dinner for the next 2 days. It's
Yeah.
huge. The baker might have also been Yut. They're quite large.
Yeah.
Like a loaf of bread,
Uh,
but better because it's a concha. It can be whatever color you want. We're not limited to the traditional colors here. They could even be rainbow. Who cares? The sky is the limit. That's the beautiful thing about fantasy is you can make any food you want. That's really the best part about playing any kind of game.
Yeah. Food is the best.
So Raul is so overjoyed to see you. And then he looks a little thoughtful. Where was this mission you just finished?
We went to Tiku earlier and turned in a map that we had found on our last mission. It was a glorifying success, and but yeah.
Oh, good. Did you run into any trouble there by chance? We've been hearing rumors, at the portals as the portal keepers. We hear all of the
Well, what have you heard?
the business. Well, we heard of some trouble in the rainforest. Well, it was resolved, I think, mostly. At least the rumors have died down. But there was some trouble with the with the Neo Conquistadors.
And his wings like flare up. He goes, "Are you what? I haven't. We didn't run into that."
Well, I'm glad to hear it. It was apparently just a small rogue faction, and I'm hearing that they were chased off. But there's still some mumblings because we don't really know what they were doing.
And you see this like really serious look like go over Palo's face, and he goes, "Thank you for telling me. They never give up. All these little factions that pop up. So I need to go and talk to Tala and Jax. Thank you,
my
friend.
Be careful."
Oh, absolutely. You know me." And then he
Yes, that is why I say so.
Yeah. And then he sort of runs away because one of the things about Cial's wings is they don't work all the time. He can't just like stay aloft forever. He can fly for short distances. So he's running through the stalls and looking for Tala, where there's now a sizable crowd, and he's like trying to jump up so that you see him, but he's a little short. So then he climbs up like the banister of one of the things to like get your attention and make eye contact. Come here.
Tala catches this because she knows Palo very well by this time, and like she's always kind of got her eye out for her friends. So she like catches this out of the corner of her eye and then just like changes chords and like very quickly wraps up her song. It's like da-da-da, right at the end. Takes a bow as the crowd reacts and cheers. Kind of side eyes the merchant and goes like, "What do you think?" and and
Wonderful.
yes, wonderful enough for those earrings, my friend.
I think wonderful enough for those earrings, yes.
Yes.
Just
She
between the two of us. I have a lot to do. I have a lot of customers now.
Yes, absolutely. She takes the earrings, takes a bow, tells her crowd to please check out the wonderful wares that her new earrings have come from. She says, check out my stylist here, who has some deliciously beautiful things on sale. And then she says, and now I must take my leave. She cuts through the crowd over to Palo and kind of like looks up to the top of the stand and goes like, "What's happening? What's going on? You look a little flushed."
Well, you know Raul, who I hang with sometimes when he's
Love
off
him.
duty. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great, right? That's what
Yeah.
I tell him. Anyway, one of the things is he was saying that there are rumors of conquistadors in the rainforest.
Really?
Yes, he says a small faction that was there ran out, but you know, usually
Yeah.
where there's one, there's more.
They're like roaches. Absolutely. Well, this doesn't sound very good. I don't like the sound of that. And
Especially
usually
not during the festival.
absolutely. Yeah, there are too many children here. That makes me a little uncomfortable. Have you seen Jax anywhere?
I came to find you first. I thought two minds would be better than one.
Yes,
But let's go find Jax.
that sounds good to me. All right, and she pops in her new earrings, gives them a little whirl to make sure they like
Whoa,
stay
those
in
are
place.
stunning.
Thank you, thank you. I played 15 minutes song just to earn them myself. But without let's not think too hard about these things right now. We've got to go find Jax.
Mission accepted.
There is a group of Grand Marcellian students. That's just 4 girls that like see your earrings and they're like, I love them. I
Ah,
love them. Perfect.
she
10
kind
out
of
of 10.
like prims her curls and goes, "Thank you so much. They're from that stand right over there."
They
Uh,
they rush it. Like there is a cloud of dust behind them, and then like a cartoon, the stand is like just completely encumbered in cartoon dust.
mhm, mhm.
And then when they leave, half of the jewelry is gone, and the merchant is saddled with so much money and food and other and inexplicably a copy of a copy of notes on Arcana. It was one of the girls' majors, and I guess that's just the most valuable thing she had to trade. You got a few necklaces out of it. It's a wonderful economy.
Tala prides herself in being an influencer in Koboa. Awesome. Yeah, so I think they'll take off to Jax. Tala's instinct is just to like sniff the air and see what the most delicious thing smells like and where it's from. And she assumes she'll be where that's where Jax will be.
I think when you guys kind of approach, you can hear Jax just surrounded by people, and he's just going, "That's got too much salt in it. This not enough cinnamon. You did a good job, but I need more just to get a double take. And you drained your rice, which is a little weird, but whatever. I mean, you do you." And then kind of sees, "All right, everybody, I'm gonna take a quick break. You got some time to cook, so get on it." And kind of rushes over. "Hey guys."
Hey. Should I tell him or should you?
Yeah, go ahead and fill him in.
All right. So, and he basically says the exact same thing he said to Tala earlier, but then he's like, and I know that we came here for a little bit of rest after our last mission, but I definitely think that we should go and check it out because I don't like the idea of this happening while everyone's having fun and exploring the festival.
Yeah. Plus, we got some time. I put some heat on these guys, so by the time we get back, we'll get more food.
Yes, you're so amazing.
I know.
And Tala kind of like she's sort of, I guess she's like the grounded one, as grounded as she can be in the group. She's like, all right, well, let's not waste any time because I'd like to get back to this festival as quickly as possible. Which way did Raul detail where we'd find these people?
Real quick, we
Yeah.
have a wonderful, wonderful message in chat to drink some water. Everybody drink some water, please. Hydrate. As No Medic says, hydrate or you dehydrate.
Thank you. Done and
Thank
done.
you very much. While you guys have been commiserating and filling in Jax, I would like all of you to roll perception.
Mm.
First roll of the game.
Okay. 15.
Mhm.
19. And I have
I am
level 0 in
also-
perception.
That's nice.
I'm also at 15.
15. Okay. So, Tala, Palo, you were slightly distracted by your thoughts and trying to remember. Raul didn't really give you guys a lot of specifications, and Tala, you weren't even there. So you're trying to brainstorm with something you don't even know. Admirable, though, because sometimes it still works. You guys are pretty clever. Jax, however, is not busy doing that. Jax has nothing to recall. Jax just learned about the situation 2 seconds ago, which means that Jax notices, which is, it's a little weird. Nobody else noticed. But from one of the stalls, there is it's about 5 feet tall, not the tallest, Gintuck in what you know to be a very typical clothing for a healer, a Malgot healer specifically. They're staring right at you, unblinking. For anybody who didn't know, Gintuck also have backwards facing feet, which is a very cool feature of the form, which makes them very difficult to track, and hair that is usually in flames that they can control. Now, this Gintuck, their name is Alo. Alo's hair is a very rich, deep ruby red, but it's kept on a low simmer, like a buzz cut, but for fire. It's just the style that they like, It's easy to maintain, not too hot. People don't get burnt. It's just practical, really. Alo has wide green and brown eyes, just one green, one brown, staring straight at the three of you. A lot like this. They don't blink. That's not a Gintok thing. That's an Alo thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really seem to know what to do. They're just staring.
Guys, I'm going to be honest. I have been lying, but I don't think I've been caught enough to get that kind of stare yet.
Tala slowly turns her head just enough to it's one of those moments where it's she's trying not to look, but it's probably pretty obvious that she is looking.
Use your
She's like,
peripherals. Don't stare. Just
I
look at me,
absolutely
I'll
just
look on the side.
completely about face.
No, you.
Act natural. Yeah, okay. Totally fine.
I think once Palo turns, Tala gives up on trying to be low key. And she just kind of sighs and turns and kind of and waves. Just like, hey, we've noticed you're checking us out. We noticed you saw us from across the bar.
We hate your vibes.
We hate your vibes.
We're gonna rob
going
you.
on?
Absolutely atrocious.
Poor Alo.
Yeah.
Alo seems to have forgotten that you can also look back at them. And they look appropriately mortified.
Mm-hmm.
But they have been caught. So now they seem to be internally wrestling with, I want to sink into the ground. And I did look there for a reason. And you waved. So still staring. Hasn't really broken out of it yet.
Uh,
This face
a
looks like
sad
absolute
clown.
mortification.
Tala loves awkward situations because it gives her the upper hand. So she's taking she's gonna go ahead and take the initiative here. Tap the other two on the shoulders and just kind of go like, let's go over. And she'll start leading the charge with her big old hair and her big old features. And it's not like an immediate like, hordes first dash over, but she kind of just like saunters and like continues to wave a little bit, giving them a little time to, settle into the fact that they're gonna have to talk to her real soon.
Oh God. Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Greetings. Princess, greetings. So weird to
we
do that.
we noticed your eyes on us, and we're dealing with a bit of a situation right now, so it seemed only appropriate that we came over once we noticed you from across the way.
Right. So sorry. It's I couldn't help overhear. Well, I could have, but I didn't. I could overhear that you were talking about the neo conquistadors in the rainforest. And I've been kind of looking for some assistance. But would it be okay if we talked in I'm a healer. It's my thing. I'm a healer, and where you're gonna need my stuff really where you're going. But also, I have somebody that would really need to talk to you, if you don't mind. Please.
Yeah, well, before she makes any decision, she's gonna get a read on her companions.
You see, Palo is just standing there with his arms crossed and looking very intent, like, absolutely.
Oh, you terrify Alo. You're the reason Alo is standing like this.
Yeah.
I think Jax is the opposite, where he's just like a cat. You just only see his head just above the board with his squinting eyes. You're just like, yeah, what does your friend know?
You're gonna make Alo cry. They're very uncomfortable with people. Being a healer usually means that the people they talk to are unconscious.
Fair. That's fair.
Ideal.
Tala, of course, being like the showy one in the group, just like sets her hands on her hips and she says, "We'd like to talk to your friend then. Yes, absolutely."
Cool. Great. Cool. Okay.
She's like not missing eye contact. She's just like she knows she has the upper hand in this social situation, so she's gonna do everything she can to like keep control over it. She's like, "Go ahead."
I think Jax falls. He's like, "We'll follow for now," and just elevator down, disappears under the desk.
And Paulo is gonna give a very friendly smile because he can see like the nerves on Alo and wants to at least give that, like, you don't have to be that afraid. I know it might not help, but he sort of read that a little bit and wants to be kind a little bit.
I think that helped because that elevator thing really affected both of us in different ways. So Alo gives you a small smile back. Shoulders are like slightly further away from the ears rather than being glued next to them. It's like, okay, well, okay, well, we're just gonna follow. Half the time Alo speaks, it seems more like they're talking to themselves. Kind of like they're just like, yeah, follow me. I know the way. I've been there like 3 times before. I know the way back and forth. I don't need to look at my map. It's okay. I know where we're going. And they start to head out through booths. They do walk pretty quickly. They're not doing it on purpose. They're just used to walking quickly. So they're kind of through the stalls towards the edge of the festival where there's more set storefronts. And between two more Laurentian style buildings, there is a very, very old, more traditional Koboan building still standing, although in moderate disrepair. And there's a curtain instead of a door. And so they pull the curtain aside and gesture for you to come in if you'd like.
Well, thank you. And he walks in.
Yeah, Tala will give a little nod as well and follow right behind Palo.
I'm watching and kind of just staring, but then hits the wall.
That
as
was
he's-
so close to a I'm watching you from Monsters Inc. That's so close.
Just legally distinct enough.
They are. So you all enter?
Mhm.
Yes.
Perfectly. Well, you see it's a cute, it's obviously with a lot of love decorated, this space. This place has a lot of small little like trinkets. There's beautiful medicines from all over Koboa. You might recognize some distinct glass patterns from specific cultures within Koboa. It's very whimsical. Think very Howl's bedroom amount of clutter, but it seems to have a system to it. It's very cozy. And sitting on one of the cots, slightly more into the room, is what you'll recognize as a raug. Now, the form of the raug is a little different. They're not particularly common for a very specific reason. So the form of the raug features elements that are usually seen in extraplanar beings. Horns, tails, red skin, vibrant like a ruby red skin, or like fresh blood. And more commonly they're known as the form of the demon. This is, of course, just a folk tale type thing. It's a form like any other that you can choose. Technically, the lore is that elves originally had made a deal with something for the map to get the form of the rogue to give them an edge in battle. Since then, it has just been a form very few people take. The initial ideal was eventually you will have to pay up for using that form. Most people that take it nowadays don't believe that because they figure if there was a payment, it would have happened by now over the long time that you guys have had that form. Still, it is not a very common form to see, but you see a small, about like 4'5" rogue sitting in what you also recognize as Stone Seeker, like official Stone Seeker garb. So you've got some nice adventurer's garb, nice little crest. It's more like a nice little circle symbol of a Stone Seeker. This is Mitza. This is a very small, very skeptical looking person for a second, but she looks between you and Alo and hello, Cap, and she praises you, and you notice as she goes to stand that she has to reach for a cane, and that there are bruises along the side of, she's wearing like a tank top tunic situation. There are bruises along the sides of her throat, down her arm, and her foot is bandaged, which is why she's leaning on a cane. It's a very pretty cane. It seems to have been painted especially for her, and the red matches the vibrant tones of her skin and eyes. So I take it you're Stone Seekers too?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Kind
And
of made it our
you-
profession.
Perfect. So Alo, you think they're up for it? Alo's just like, I think they were gonna do it regardless. But yeah, I think so. Like they're pretty scary. I mean, no offense. You're very intimidating, very strong.
Yeah.
You see this tiny little character going.
Yeah. It's just increasing in intensity.
Like Tala's just checking out her nails, like they're super sharp. She's like, scary? What do you mean?
Tala's easily the scariest person in this group.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, by far.
No question.
Absolutely.
No question at all.
Mitsa goes from skeptical to trying not to smile because it was a very endearing display. And she's instant respect for the three of you. It's like, I can see that. Great. Alo, can you put the closed sign up, please? Okay. You guys have heard about the Neo Conquistadors in the rainforest, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I got rid of them, but came at a slight price. So are you guys ready to hear a small story and maybe take on my mission after, if you agree?
Absolutely. And he pulls out a notebook ready to write. Something that everyone in the group would know that he loves to write stories.
He's gonna
I
keep
am
meeting
hard.
notes on this. We don't do the notes. He does the notes. So
Is this where your injuries have come from?
Yes, but the creature that dealt them is also no longer among us. Well, creatures, it's always so hard with the Mano Muerta to figure out if it's one or two because it's several hands. And I just, well, they're no longer grabbing things, I suppose is the best way to put it. But they did try. And that is where we're going to go on our break. So everybody make sure to hydrate, stretch, take a bio break, get a snack, call a loved one. I don't know. You've got 10 to 15 minutes to do what you got to do. And then come back. We're going to hear Mitza's story. And we're going to start our quest. Make sure everybody is nice, hydrated, and relaxed when you get back. Hi, and welcome back to Koboa, Aventura. I am your host and GM, Brandy Rose, and I'm back with our wonderful group of stone seekers who have just entered what looks to be a sort of medical. I'm grabbing some props. Don't mind me. Don't look behind the curtain. We've got some wonderful little things to play with because we have met a beautiful, wonderful, very nervous, very, very. He's working on it, okay? But he's a little anxious. We've met Alo, who is a Gintok and healer, and we have met their friend, Mitza. Mitza is a person who is a stone seeker who has taken the form of the rogue, so the form of the demon. Mitza is a injured, currently, stone seeker who has a bit of a story to tell for our adventurers who have come back. Now, briefly, for anybody who might be joining, can the adventurers please introduce your character's pronouns? We'll start with Kat.
Yeah, I am Catrina. I'm playing Tala. Tala is an elven bard, she, her. And yeah, she's, I guess, like the one who takes initiative in the group. So she's the bravest, the boldest, the scariest. Yeah.
Actually, I have one question actually to add.
Yeah.
For everybody while you're introducing, and then now for you, what's your first impression of Mitza?
I think Tala has like a light, she's very interested, but there's a light suspicion about exactly what they're getting into.
Palo?
Yeah, so Palo is our Cial, or slightly fairy wings, very short bard friend here, holding a notebook, ready to take all the notes. He's not the initiative giver, but he is the one who makes sure the adventures are documented somewhere.
Nice.
And
yes.
you wanted the question, right?
Yes.
First impression is I'm interested to see what these the story is behind this, so that we can use it to try to stop whatever's going on. So he for all the aloofness he shows, is really serious about that. He really does care about like putting an end to this. So he wants to know as much as he can.
And then there's me. I am playing Jax, he, they, and he's a Watuk, which is sort of like a woodland-esque kind of creature. Warlock of the Pact of the Serpent, which is going to be very exciting to see. And in terms of impressions, he is with everyone in terms of this is a concern, they're wounded and they look like they can hold themselves, but just in the tiniest back of his mind, he like, I should have gave those chefs a little bit more time, just because this looks like he's just gonna take some time and he's gonna miss out on some food. So he's like, but you know, we gotta help.
Well, luckily for you, it is a multi-day festival, so you can always come back. Well,
He's hoping. He's hoping.
depends on how long you're gone. That's not in my control. But the festival's a few days long. It's like a long weekend. Everybody looks forward to it. There's a lot of cooking. They're not going to let it be over when it's done. I think everybody who spent 24 plus hours cooking beforehand would riot if it was only a day. I know I would. So you see Mitsa kind of limp towards you with the cane. There's some seats that a very nervous Alo has pulled out. You can tell that they're not used to having that many people in this space. It's making them a little antsy, but they are growing more comfortable around you. So they look a little bit less like they're going to pass out. Looking a little bit more like now they're starting to get anxious about being a good host. So it's like one anxiety is calmed, another one pops up like an anxious hydra. So they're pulling out some chairs. They're all mismatched, moderately comfortable, and just kind of like gesturing. Please sit. You just if you want water, there's water, and there's I got some flautas from one of the stands. They gave me too many. They always give me too many. I don't know why they give me so much. Maybe look like I don't eat enough. I don't know. But they give me like a huge bowl of them. I can go. I'll just go get them. I'm gonna go get them.
Before they leave, Palo is just gonna say, "You're doing amazing. Thank you so much for all the help. You're this is perfect."
Okay. And they're gonna go off. The flame, the buzz cut, whoosh. It looks like a mohawk now. It is so high, and immediately I'm like, stop. And you could probably like if you tried to, you could probably hear in the kitchen of like, oh my god, get it together. That was so nice. Oh my god. Am I supposed to stop counting?
Palo, what did you do? What did you do?
All I did was say they were doing great.
Way to go, my guy. Come on.
And you see him also get anxious.
Tala is just like having the time of her life now. Like I think all the suspicion is like it's kind of ebbing away now that she's like seeing her cohorts like just kind of get comfortable. So she's also getting comfortable.
Mitsa had already sat down on a chair and like witnessed it without even looking up because she could hear it, and she's just sitting there like, oh my god. Okay,
Tala like whispers to the other two, and she's like, let's make sure we fluster that one as much as possible while we're here.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah.
So much for feeling bad about that, by the way. That lasted a hot second. The guilt subsided, amusement took over. I get it. I've been there.
Oh yeah, we've got a mischievous little bunch here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Alo returns with a huge basket of just steaming flautas filled with beans. Some have cheese, some have beef, some have chicken. They still are rocking currently the flame mohawk, but it's more stable now. It's more like they couldn't get it to come down, so they were just like, okay, just stay, please. And so their voice is a little stronger. Shoulders are a little back because they know food. They can just look at the food and talk to the food. So they're explaining what kind of flautas there are without looking at any of you. Just straight up food. Here you go. I'm just gonna sit. If you guys need something, you just I don't know, say something. If you need something, say something. Anyway, Mitsa, please start talking. Mitsa's like, I got you. You're fine. Thank you guys for coming. Mitsa grabs a flauta because manners are for people that have time. So there's maybe some mouth open eating. It's fine. It's a festival. It happens. It's because you're enjoying the food and really just letting the aroma get some oxygen. So it's fine. It's not gross. It's fine. And just me putting my open mouth eating agenda into my games. Anyway, Mitsa pulls out a bag from the side of her pocket. And from it, she pulls 2 marbles. Now, you can't see them very closely, but I can do the influencer thing. It looks like a bear. Stop it. That looks like a bear. It's a bear. Just believe me, it's a bear. So there's a little bear on what looks like a tiny little marble. It's a little cloudy. And it's humming with magic. With good magic. It feels restorative. It feels healing. It feels a little bit like when the temperature is not too hot and not too cold, kind of like on April 23rd. And the temperature is just right. You only need a light jacket. And the sun it hits you for the first time when you step outside. And it's just sun-kissed is the only real word for the way that it hits your skin. And you just feel good. You feel comfortable. Your clothes fit right. Nothing is tugging, nothing is too tight. It feels like comfort personified in this vibe that's coming from this metal marble. She lifts it up in her fingers. She's holding it with the more injured side, probably because it's helping, maybe even just to be in proximity to it. But it doesn't have a bear on it. This is just my prop, and it has a bear on it because I got this when I was 5, and it has zoo animal facts on the back. Props are great, okay? What it does have on the front of it is a kijor. Kijor is a small turtle-like creature. So the kijor is this. The one on this is elderly. It's got a long, stretchy neck, and you notice if you look at it close enough, because she's holding it out to you, it's moving. Like it's moving in the marble. It's stretching a little. It's got nice, long, leathery neck, as turtles do. I don't own a turtle. This one does. And its shell, as it yawns, its shell is like a clam, and it kind of opens and closes with the yawn, and you see this fleeting glimmer of gold. Something very cool about kijor is they, when they sense danger, they disappear into their shells, as turtles do. They have a rock-like or shell-like appearance that helps them blend into their surroundings, and inside of it is little coin-like bits and gems and treasures that they grow naturally. Usually they're found in mountains or in mineral mines. They can be really, really helpful to find gold. They are, of course, a creature that was heavily abused by the Laurentians during their occupation. This one is not in his shell. He seems to be feeling the April 23rd vibes. And he seems like he was injured. Maybe he you can notice some jaggedness to his shell that isn't natural. But he seems to be healing. More importantly, he seems to be real, even though this is a marble. Mitza holds it out and goes, "This is a healing orb. We developed them. They're still not widespread. It takes a lot of energy to make one. But we made them to help the creatures of Koboa. Some of them have been corrupted over years and years of influence from the Laurentians and under their abuse. Some of them have been corrupted by the conflicting magic in their area, from being forced from their homes. Killing them isn't helping anyone, except it's, all it does is deplete from our natural, inhabitants. They live here just like we do, and they deserve to be cared for. Knocking them out and leaving them there isn't sustainable, and there's not enough healers to take care of all of the people and all of the animals individually. So we developed these so that they can be subdued and temporarily captured into the healing orb. Now, they can only go in really if they don't mind. They can sense the magic. They make their own decision. They do need to be subdued in order to pay attention and go in willingly. For the most part, they get pretty defensive, understandably. This little guy, he went in pretty calmly. We think he's about 300 years old. So he still remembers what it was like before, huh? Pretty boy. And she holds it out and goes, "Well, I was in the rainforest because we heard reports of some neo-conquistadors who had tried to take over a temple. Now, this wasn't a temple any of us had ever explored. And frankly, it was a temple we didn't think existed anymore. It wasn't on the map. Anybody who talked about it had, long died, and the oral histories were so vague. We figured it had maybe just been destroyed, even just by time. Apparently not. And they tried to take it over, but the magic of the area was overpowering. They didn't do it right, but they did take over a little. Their magic conflicted really badly with the area, and we managed to get rid of them, although they had some dangerous creatures like the Manueto. That was pretty rough. Small cool side note for people who have not yet played Koboa. The Mano Muerta are a cool creature that's hands, just floating ghost hands. And really what they're going to do is they're going to latch onto you until you're... So fighting those off is no small feat. And they can also grow larger or stack onto themselves. They were slightly too intense, I think, for your combat. So I just wanted to put them in there so you guys could celebrate another amazing feature and creature of Koboa without having to fight them off because I didn't want to strangle you guys. She holds up a second marble. She actually gently hands this over to Alo. So it seems that they both have an affinity for each of the creatures that they care for. And Alo lifts it and is less anxious, probably because he's very interested in this. So this one has an elephant on it. But instead of you guys see a nagratal. A nagratal is a pig-like creature. They are voracious omnivores. They look like giant pigs that are covered in rock armor. Ghibli would have had a field day with them. They're very selective about what they eat, but they can, and in a pinch, will eat anything, much like real pigs. Now, they're usually very happy to cooperate with the citizens of Koboa, to help them, to work, to just not eat them, if, for example, bartered with delicious meals. They're very easy to communicate with, and they can be very, very helpful companions. Sometimes you can even become more like family with one or with its herd. There's definitely quite a few of them that you saw at the festival. This one, however, looks much less well fed. This guy is he's a little thin, and his rocks are a bit dull. And one of his little tusks is missing. But it's okay, because there's a baby one coming in, because they can regrow thanks to this orb. So Alo holds it up and goes, this is he gets a little sheepish again. I didn't know you yet. His name is Palo. I didn't know. I know my name is Alo. My name is
It's
Palo.
just like you.
I know, it's so
Oh
cute.
my
Hey, Palo, I'm Palo.
The pig in there like looks up and then looks at you. And you get like a...
We're best
And
friends
then it
now.
just goes back to like lay, and it just like lays back down on its side, and it's clearly more injured than the other animal, and therefore still resting a lot more. But that was definitely a sign of recognition and respect. You know, Palo recognizes Palo, and Alo seems quite happy with that as well, because it seems that you know, Nagratal Palo does not tend to speak much. He's quite tired. So we rescued these two. They were Mitsa rescued, and I was behind her with the orbs. Because it's a lot to do combat and catch them at the same time. But I helped a little bit, kind of. And we just wanted to save them. But when Mitsa got so injured, and the Neo Conquistadors, they'd run. They definitely were not coming back, put it that way, because let's just say they weren't as good at fighting off those hands as Mitsa is. But Mitsa's an amazing fighter. Mitsa's just like, yeah. Anyway, so we figured we had to come back. But the temple, we couldn't even go into it. I mean, these two, we just saved them because they were outside. So what we need is adventurers strong enough to go back to heal the probably very powerful creature inside, or at least, just capture it. We have these. They're empty. And these will heal anything that's inside of them. Don't put people in it. Have not tested that. Don't know how that would go. Best not to experiment on that. Animals, though, totally fine. So animals, creatures, beings, great. People, no. They work by, you either gain an animal's trust or you defeat it gently in combat, and they choose to be healed or not. And we need people to go in And also, there's relics in the temple, apparently. I mean, we got some information out of the Neo-Conquistadors before, they could no longer share information. And we need Stone Seekers to go in there and recover the relics. They weren't sure exactly what was in it, but the magic around that place, it was undescribable. So there's definitely something powerful that is stuck in there. They were bragging about having kind of trapped something in there. So we need you to go and see what you can find and save whoever is in there. Would you do it? It's pretty deep into the rainforests of Tala, but we could probably get you a portal to be close by the temple. And we don't really exactly remember the coordinates. We were a little busy not dying. Will you do it?
I think we see Jax kind of just like, what are we doing? You've got professionals. So we are the team, we are the spice, we are the adobo that is essential to life. You got your team. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I mean, I just didn't want to go. I didn't want to go back to Tico and tell them that we had discovered a beautiful temple that we had to abandon and couldn't find anybody to replace. So it would be great if you could go and come back. And I'll give you guys a little healing potion. It should be enough for 3 doses of half healing for each of you. It looks like a hard candy. You just break it, and well, it looks like a heart because Alo made it. So and Alo's just like, well, I was just experimenting with with shapes. I thought it was cute. But yeah, you should all take one. Just crack it, eat it. You should be fine. It tastes like cherries, but not like medicine cherries, like really like cherries. I don't like how medicine tastes like fake cherries.
It tastes like fake cherries.
God.
I
It's
100%
depressing.
agree.
It's
Just complete
depressing.
lies.
It completely turned me off from cherries for most of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And then I discovered how real cherries taste.
And that's what this tastes like. So
Yes.
so you should have that. And would you be able to go right now?
I look,
We're really worried.
and then I vigorously shake my head up and down.
Yes, I don't believe we've unpacked from the last trip, so we can simply just go.
Right. Because we have the portal in the back.
Oh,
We-
yeah.
We were worried we wouldn't be able to open it again if we closed it. So it'll stay open for about what time is it? I think it'll stay open for like 48 hours. I think. But that should be enough time because I think it takes you about like not that long from the portal from the temple, and then as long as you don't get I don't know, trapped in there for 2 days, you should be fine. But if you're trapped in there for 2 days, you're really gonna have other problems.
Don't worry about it. Fast is my second middle name.
What's your first middle name?
No, you
Not.
don't want to know. You know what? That was a kept secret, okay? That
Sorry.
was told in confidence.
Constantly learning new things about you guys.
Both Mitsa smiles because she has composure. Alo cracks up. They can't help it. They cannot help it. The fire is going all over the place, and they're just nodding and laughing. And okay, it's good to hear. I won't tell anyone. Okay, well, I guess well, let me show you the bag. Maybe you should take some flautas. I can give you a bag. And then he pulls a bag from the bag of bags. It's a bag of cloth bags. It's just stuffed together in a big fabric chili pepper. And it's definitely not hanging in my abuela's house. And gives you guys just kind of starts shoving them into the bag. Here you go. They don't have any properties for you guys over the table. They don't have any property. They're just good.
Okay.
They're just good. Maybe they'll make you happy.
Absolutely. Palo gets up, stands his total 3.5 feet, takes out his javelin, and is super excited and begins marching towards the portal. As he does, he turns around and gives a small little note to Alo that says, "Please read when you're alone. Please." And then he walks away. He walks into the portal.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. And Mitsa just, hands who, well, it's Tala who looks most responsible. So you get 3 of these healing
Okay.
orbs that are empty.
Got it.
And there's a tiny little note of the instructions that you have to either have bonded with, bargained with, or weakened an animal in order for them to sense it. So it's kind of, you offer it to them. They will be able to see what it is, and they will make the choice to go in or not. Or the dice will. I don't know. So you guys, you get 3 of these.
Great. Tala takes that. To add to the matter of what Palo just did, she also says, "Well, thank you for this quest. Goodbye, Mitsa." And then she goes, "Goodbye, Alo."
Bye. Be safe. Yeah, okay.
The Jack fellow says, "Don't worry, it's gonna be fast, it's gonna be clean, and it's not like anybody's gonna know we're there, so it's gonna be okay." And proceeds to just slowly his way out.
That's reassuring, I think. And that is the last thing you guys will hear as the portal just kind of ripples around you. And it's kind of like looking into a mirror. You could see into the forest from it, but you can't see back into the shop. That's really just a privacy feature because Otto feels weird when it feels like people are watching them. So it's just a little privacy veil. And might do you guys some good to try and mark where you are in your heads. Because they didn't give you any instructions on finding the temple. They were a bit distracted by their 2 charges and the surprise that you guys accepted the mission. So you guys can probably feel. Actually, let's see what the dice can decide if you feel. I think. Does anybody have any kind of proficiency in anything Arcana based?
Yes, I believe so. Let me double check. But I believe
I got nature. That's what I got.
Nature could also work for this.
Yep.
So if you want to do a skill check do you want to roll nature for me, Jax? And then Palo, you can roll Arcana.
Yep.
And then if you would like to, Tala, you can just roll perception unless you have something that fits better.
I think perception works because I have keen senses, so perception
Good.
is my proficiency.
Everybody has different strengths.
It's a nat 1.
Jax is
Oh
lost.
no!
So I got a 4 total.
I got a
I know.
6. I got 16.
What? 16?
16. Mhm.
Yeah, so mine is let me do some math. Hold on. That's 23.
Woo.
You know where everyone is. You know where you are on the map.
Nice.
Genuinely, you actually think you recognize some of these features around you from maps you've seen. And you're pretty confident that even without the portal, even though it would take ages, you could probably find a city.
Nice.
That's
Tala
so,
knows so much more than me.
generally, you're going to be the one to tell people how to get back to the portal. So that's what you get with your 23. You know where the portal is. And no matter where you guys end up, you will know how to go back to the portal.
Got it.
Palo.
Mhm.
Arcana check. You can feel the air is thick with something magical that is different from anything you've felt before. And it's not inherently dark so much as it feels tainted. But the original magic is still very strong underneath it. And kind of like an inner compass, you can feel the direction that it's coming from. While it is all around you like air, it is definitely pulsating from a specific point so you could lead people towards it if you wanted to.
Oh,
Jax, you're in a forest. You sure are in a rainforest. It's raining. That's news. You know, you weren't raining and now you're raining. And that's about, you know, you're not very focused on it. It's okay. You don't have to. You're probably not always the one who guides people. You're probably instead taking note of what was it that you rolled, nature, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're taking note of the actual nature. So that, you know, you have a great concept of what's growing there. That could be helpful later on if needed. You don't know. But you just, you know, it's not very helpful with orientation. But that's okay, because you have two other people who kind of know where you have to go later and where you have to go now. So you're providing helpful context for anything they might need, maybe in regards to nature.
It's like, guys, you see that? That's a flower. It's gonna be important later. Take notes.
I pretend to take a note, and then absolutely in the margins, I go, "Wow."
Read it back to me. Read it back to me. I just need to make sure that I got it right. Just
you know, there's a flower. It
Mhm.
was pink.
Wow.
Good descriptor. Good descriptor. We're gonna need that. We're gonna need that.
I just show Tala my note from the book.
Yeah. Tala goes like, "Yep, that's a real good note. That's a great note. We definitely got all the details we need." She's
So-
storing all of her knowledge in her horns right now.
That's why they're so big. They're full of knowledge.
Yeah. The knowledge is stored in the horns.
Well, I definitely feel it coming from that direction. So whatever it is really powerful and strange at the same time. Let's go. And
Yep.
he takes off and begins flying in that direction.
Yeah, Tala follows suit and pulls Jax along.
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? The cast makeup of Ice Age.
Not just slit the slaw.
That hit me like with such a visceral image right now. I was like, this is the plot of Ice Age, actually. Oops.
I love it. Oh my god. Oh.
Well, you guys are traveling along through the forest. Let's see. Which one of you? I like to do fun things that are not just dice. Who has had pizza in the last week?
Tommy.
Nope.
Chris?
I
No?
have.
You have. Cool. Can you roll a d6?
All right. Yeah, this is great. D6.
Because of pizza.
I got a 5.
You got a 5. Okay.
And meteor swarm.
No. You hear a rustling in the bushes as you guys are going through. You're being dragged along, right? But that means you have more time to look around, especially because you're so good with nature. You hear a rustling in the bushes that seems kind of like you can't see anything. To be fair, this is a rainforest. Every bush is like extremely high and it's raining on top of that. Your visibility is not great. You guys are following Pablo's magic vibes. So you can't really see it yet. But something is rustling along with you. When you guys slow down, it slows down. When you speed up, it speeds up. And it's only 8 feet away consistently.
I think Jax is being dragged. Hey guys, as you know, I have a keen sense of the area which we are in. I am, how they say, proficient within these realms. There is something following us, I believe, very close, and when we stop, it stops, and when it goes, we go. So I think we're being stalked.
Can I do this is so dumb. I want to pretend like I'm about to sprint, then like jerk and stop and fling a fairy fire behind us, like wherever he is saying it is.
I need you to roll
I have no idea where this thing is, by the way. I have a very-
Performance?
Yes! I'm a bard.
I know you're a bard, but that's the core of this is performance.
Yep.
And then I'll have you roll the thing for your aim.
Okay.
Because that's 2 parts. Are you fooling it? And are you hitting it?
Okay. So, for that.
Like Uncharted, just to run, stop, go back.
Yeah.
immediately-
I am having fun. I can't
I'm so
read
glad.
that number is an 11. So
Okay.
a 29.
You
I
trick
rolled
it.
Yes. I rolled an 18 and my plus is 11 for performance. So
You trick it. Can you do you have a roll set for that spell or do you want to roll a d6?
I don't have it set, so I will roll the d6. I'm scared.
I'm so scared.
I got a 3.
Oh my god. Okay.
What?
You hit the 3 of them with what's the
What?
damage on that? What is that? Can you describe that spell, please?
Yeah. Fairy fire is 1 second. Let me
I
see
actually
where-
have to roll the dice also.
Yeah.
You're not
So-
in combat, by the way.
Yeah, fairy fire, 1 act, 60 feet. Each object in the area is outlined in blue, green, or violet light, and this is going to be a very violet color. Any creature in the area with the spell is also outlined in light, so it's more so that we know where they are
Right.
than like an actual attack.
Okay. Right. So that nobody is harmed. They're
Right.
just would you say that they are perhaps startled?
Yes, absolutely.
It's great. Catrina, can you pick a number between 1 and 6?
Let's go for 4.
Palo, can you pick a different number?
2.
Jax, can you pick a different number?
1.
Palo,
Hmm?
you get hit in the face with something. Now it's raining. So at first, it's not an inherently fully new situation, but it's the viscosity of it that really, this is not rain.
Mm,
And you're not very big. So
Hmm.
it's like it hits you in the forehead, about like this big. And it's washing away in the rain, kind of. But not fully. And out
Right.
of the bushes emerge 3 violet glowing llamas.
Ah,
Not the
Ah.
llamas.
we got him. Ah, it got
They
me
look
right in the face.
startled and confused, and one of them is
Yeah,
of another one in case needed.
Whoa. We mean you no harm. Llamas.
Oh.
Cálmate, llama. Cálmate.
Because that one works so well
Tranquilo,
on Latino
tranquilo.
creatures and people.
Well, okay, so
That one works better.
here's a plan. Here's a plan, though. As an elf, Tala can actually has an ability called interrogate nature. If Tala can touch one of these llamas, if we can figure out how to actually calm them down long enough for Tala to touch them, she can connect with them through her mind.
Oh,
I mean,
don't we
you
have
c-
conchas?
you have flautas,
Flautas.
and they're long,
I'm-
so it's quite a good offering.
I
That
am
is
going
true.
to pull one out of the bag and go, is this why you were following us?
That's not why they were following you, by the way, but they will take the food.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna, it's raining, they're kind of cold. They're very dedicated to their cause. These are really great llamas. Llamas are an official creature of Koboa, by the way. At the end of the creatures book, there's one that says llama. Llamas are mountain creatures. They have 4 legs and long fleeces that they shear for wool. They're main beasts of burden in the Gosan Mountains. They spit acid from their stomach as a self-defense mechanism.
Oh, that was gross. It's acid spit.
Stomach acid. So it's not like acid burn you, it's stomach acid. It's just thick and gross.
This is fun. But
I mean, it's like a real llama. They really do that. They spit at you. They spit stomach acid at you. It's just a normal llama. Are they still glowing?
Oh, yes. As long
Okay,
as
well,
I
they're
keep
still
it up.
glowing, so they're a little suspicious of that. But one of them, the one that spit, probably, is eyeing you, and it leans forward, and it kind of takes the flauta, and
Nice.
it pulls it back, and like kind of eats it, and they like kind of look at each other, like they're conferring.
I've got more.
The llamas, they are intelligent creatures. They are similar to
They're
that
gonna
of
they're
raptors.
gonna approach. They're gonna approach.
Okay.
So
Tala.
they'll approach. You guys can touch them. They have caught. One of them has audibly swallowed what it had been preparing. You're good.
Good. I let the fairy fire sort of go down.
Awesome. And so now that they're able to be like pet and touched and stuff, Tala does reach out to gently touch one of them. And what her ability does is that through her connection, she gains knowledge of any events that we would have been able to perceive in that era or area over the past 2 hours. So maybe that plays into
Mhm.
what they're doing.
Sure.
Tala cannot do this again
That's
until
okay.
our next long rest. So let's
So
hope this wasn't too early.
that's okay. This is actually, I think this is a really great time for that skill. All right. You touch the llama, one that's probably closest to you. It nuzzles into your hand. It's very friendly. What you'll get from it is that they are not usually from there, but they had been being used by Laurentian who had stolen them, neo-conquistadors who had stolen them. Were using them as work animals. They were okay mostly. They just were kind of confused about where they were. This isn't their usual place. They didn't like the Laurentians that stole them. They didn't like what they were doing. They don't like the distress coming from the temple. And so they wanted to help, which is why they were following you. Because they recognized you came out of the portal that the two other nice people came in out and went into. So they figured, nice people went in, and nice people went out. So they went to kind of see who you were and offer their services to ride to the temple because it'll be quicker and they know where it is.
Oh, yes, please.
One of them, like it pauses and it looks at the other one and it communicates. It's like the other one is sorry for spitting.
Mhm.
The lights scared us.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It was me. I get really scared when people or creatures are following me and we don't know where they are. So, but that was rude. And then
But the llamas fully respect and understand this. They feel the
Mhm.
same way, which is why they spit. So
Forgive
all
us,
is forgiven
llamas.
and understood.
yeah,
He's
I
a
would.
rookie.
The other llamas will like go to each of you. Like one goes to Jax, one goes to Palo, and you get like a headbutt kind of situation.
Do
to
I
the
get the one
shoulder
that
or
spit on
something.
me?
Yes, it is sorry. It is very sorry that it spit on you.
And I go, no,
Really,
I
it would
absolutely
let you
deserved
spit
it.
back, but it feels you're already even because you did scare it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was me.
TLDR. You guys, if you would like to, you can get on the llamas. They will let you. It's fine. They're quite large. You are not heavy.
I am
They
tiny.
will just take you.
The llama
great.
is giant compared to me. So
Amazing.
I love
You'll
it.
be very comfy because they're very soft. They haven't been shorn in quite a long time. They're extremely fluffy. So they're going to take you. If you allow,
Mhm.
they're going to take you to the temple, which is where you arrive as this session ends. We will return next week, same time, but not the same place. The second part of this one shot, and one of the most amazing parts about doing this wonderful funded AP, is that we got to pay to be hosted here on one of the pillars of our space and community, TTRPGs. And we get to be hosted on the second and final episode at Utopia. So big thank you already in advance to Utopia. Big thank you to TTRPGs for hosting us today, who will also be running tech for us next week. So that means we are going to sign off soon, but not before we have outros. We have very special outros. So we're going to start with Catrina.
Hello. I'm Catrina. So nice to be here. I'm so happy to be here. I'm a Chilean American actor, producer, writer, By day, I am the community manager, not only at Skybound, but also at Worlds Beyond Number, which has been just a great adventure for me over the past month. Wonderful people to work with. I also am the host of Podro Pascal, the podcast about Pedro Pascal, which you can watch new episodes starting next week. And we also do Mandalorian recaps. We're all about that, man. And I host a couple other podcasts as well, which you can find on my links, which have just been posted in chat. And I am so happy to be here and be playing Tala. My heritage means a lot to me, and so thank you so much for having me on the show.
Of course. Then it goes over to Randy.
Hey everyone, I'm Randy Alvarenga. You can follow me on the links in chat. I am an actor, performer, singer, and writer based out of the Pacific Northwest. And right now I do a lot of different streams all over the internet. Just some of them are Pathfinder 2E game over on Nat 20 Productions, and Harbinger's RPG, which is a Savage Worlds game over on Gone Rogue Entertainment. So lots of different places. You can find out more and all the other things all on my socials. So check that out. It means a lot to me. My heritage is El Salvadoran, and just like Catrina said, I love being able to tell stories that like reflect who I am and my people, and getting to see like more of this stuff being created in this space is really powerful to me, and I'm just stoked to be a part of telling that story too. So
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Chris.
Hi everyone. My name is Chris. I was playing the lovely Jax here. You can follow me at my socials at vo_Colón. That's COLON. It's on there where the links are. You can catch me over on my socials there, but also I have my own show that I'm co-producing over on Bathouse RPG, which is the Symphony of Silos, which is going to be a very fun quest game. So I'm very excited for that. And as everyone has said before, this has been a very wonderful experience to play with a bunch of other folks of the same sort of heritage background. For me, I'm Cuban, Dominican, and Puerto Rican, so I go by Caribbean to make my life easier, but it's very awesome to finally play my Taino culture within a game with a bunch of lovely folks. So thank you for all of these wonderful folks for playing with this system, which is amazing, and you should go check out.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will take the floor. Hi, hello. I'm Brandy Rose, pronounced he, him. I was the GM, or I am your GM, and I'm also the executive producer and showrunner of this two-part AP. I am a queer disabled Latina producer. I'm Mexican. I am Mexican AF. I am very, very proud of my heritage. Specifically, also, I'm Indigenous Mexican, who has been talking for far too long, and that is why things are coming out very blurry, but I'm an Indigenous Mexican. My family is Anamuri, so I'm Muki, and I'm very, very proud of our heritage. I'm very, very proud to be Mexican, loud and proud, Mexicana, extremely so. So making this project, being told that I would be able to have a budget to hire and like compensate everybody, that they wanted everybody involved to be Latin and South American specifically on every level, voiced actors, the cast, the crew, everybody, the hosts. It was a absolute so far once in a lifetime, hopefully not forever once in a lifetime experience that I'm extremely grateful for. But yes, I'm a game designer, I'm a GM, I'm a writer, I'm an actor. I have a podcast network. You can find all of my information on the slide here and in chat. And I also want to thank our amazing production and our amazing creators. Come back to all of our wonderful smiling faces as we wave you out and tell you how grateful we are for your participation, for the amazing chat, and for all of your love that made all of this possible. So thank you so much, and we will see you guys next Sunday.